Welcome to Pride in Parsippany. I'm your host, Mayor James Barberio. Today I have with me members of the Rescue and Recovery. I have Billy Sanford and Jake Begg, and also with me from Elite Divers Club, right? Am I correct? It's Dennis Santos. Thank you, gentlemen, for being on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for
I'm going to start with the Rescue and Recovery because we've become very close. Because not that we won't want to be, we all like each other, but we played a very big part in the community when it came to the two major hurricanes. And over that course of the time, I really got to know all the individuals, even prior to that. And first, before I go on, Billy, can you tell us, you're the president of the?
Yes, I'm in charge of the business and basically a general overseer of the operation. The chief and the captain run the operations. I do mostly business. I'm in charge of the fundraising. I'm in charge of the buildings and basically making sure that everything stays together. I take care of some of the bills and stuff with the trucks, try and negotiate and wiggle and worm where we can. So that's pretty much my responsibility, to try and keep everything all together. Where the operations, they do the day-to-day calls, the training and education and stuff like that.
And Jake?
I'm a captain of Parsippany Rescue and Recovery, and on the operations end of it, we do extrications. We do extrications, entrapments, take care of individuals that are stuck in the vehicles, as well as elevators. We do pump outs. We work with the water water side of the operations, where we do ice rescue, swift water, along with the fire departments that's around our districts, as well as diving. That's where we work alongside with elite divers. They train majority of our guys for diving.
Okay, so now I'm still going to stay with R&R. We're going to get to you eventually, Dennis.
No worries.
Can you tell the community of Parsippany, basically a perfect example, if there's a fire, what your role is during that fire, and then I'm going to ask other questions going further because of your involvement in the hurricanes and all that kind of stuff as well. So can you start with that?
We'll get called for support.
Right.
We roll the trailer, the rehab trailer. We'll get called to support the fire department along with the ambulance squad. We work hand in hand. We power up the rehab trailer. We make sure everything is warm for them or cool, whichever your season is. We'll provide support as far as air bottle filling. We'll back them up with helping them get their equipment off and stuff like that if need be. A lot of times they help each other out, so it's really a pretty good oiled machine. We work well together. And then after the fire, we'll go ahead and we'll board up the
Right,
structure,
exactly.
and we'll close up and provide lighting and just make sure that everything is well rounded, just to keep everything moving along. We also provide assistance to other towns occasionally, where we'll go into another town and back up their fire department for air bottle filling. A couple of the towns that we do deal with are Denville and Boonton. We did go to Morristown at one point in time, and that was through the county. We're actually the backup for the county air truck. So, we got a pretty big responsibility when the whistle blows.
Well, I noticed, and I'll ask you this question, Jake. I noticed that when there's a lot of accidents, you guys are always a lot of the times on the scenes of car accidents and stuff like that because of people being entrapped.
Yes.
Explain to us. I know I saw that Jaws of Life thing. I know you guys you're there on the spot. So
When a call comes out, we get dispatched, and the group gets together. Specialty trained members. We go out on the scene and we use all steps necessary to, number one, free the patient in a vehicle, using the Jaws of Life, using the spreaders, whatever it takes, working alongside with the fire departments, as well as EMS, who is stabilizing the patient while we do our job,
Right.
taking that patient out.
All right, now here I'm going to get into the water and rescue and the recovery part of it, because I know you guys invited me to several when you went diving.
Drills.
You know, you wanted me to get in there, but I'm not going in. But Dennis, here's your role, I guess. And you told me a story prior that you trained Billy's. Is it Billy's father?
Billy's father used to frequent our shop years ago, and George was a great supporter of ours, and it's great to see that sense of community being brought back. And I cherish the partnership. We have a great rapport with the team. They're gracious enough to allow us to use their facility to hold our elite dive club meetings, which is our nonprofit arm, if you will. We have some great guest speakers there, usually every month or so. We'll be hosting Dr. Alex Antonio tonight from a shark research conservancy group. He used to run the aquatics program at Rutgers, and he's a great guy. He's coming all the way in from Colorado Springs.
Oh, wow.
To talk tonight. We'll have some other great guests in the near future, and again, I really enjoy the partnership with these guys. They're a great group of folks, and it really adds to the sense of community here in Parsippany.
Well, let me ask you this. Anybody can, I guess, train a scuba guy with your the elite dive, am I correct?
Yeah.
Not just for rescue, but for, I guess, the...
Oh, sure. We offer a host of services. We do a lot of work with the local Boy Scout troops as well here in Morris County, and sometimes beyond that. But we offer both what we call Discover Scuba, where folks from ages 10 to 90 or above can just try the sport. They don't have to buy any equipment or anything. We provide everything, and we spend a few hours with them in a classroom setting, and then take them over to our pool that we use at the Greater Morristown YMCA, which is another great partner of ours. And of course, we provide certifications. We also have a merit badge for the Boy Scouts. We also welcome Girl Scouts as well. So it's in great engagement. Some of them actually choose to do birthday parties with us. So
Oh, wow.
they'll bring pizza and cake into the shop, and after that's settled a bit, they'll come into the pool and do some scuba diving as well.
I'll scuba dive in my pool. About it. Back to R&R, I get this question because I know you're a volunteer organization. How do you get your funding? I mean, what's the process? Because I like the residents to know that all that you do in the community. I can tell you firsthand, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of our volunteers, and Rescue and Recovery is one of them. They're the backbone of our community. They go out. They take time away from the families just to make sure that Parsippany is secure and safe. And I can tell you firsthand, through Hurricane Irene and Hurricane Sandy, I don't think they slept a wink, so, but it's important that we help them and we fund them as well. So can you tell us what that process is, Billy?
One of the things that we just started when I became president is we started involving the wives in our organization to
Well, now we know it's going to run right.
to free up some of our time, so we don't have to spend as much time on some of the smaller stuff. So we can focus now on. We do a mailing campaign once a year, which is actually 2 mailings. It's the initial mailing and then like a reminder mailing, in case somebody wants to donate but they forget to or something like that. We rely very heavily on the donations that we get from the residents. We do get a contribution from the township, which takes care of a lot of our operating expenses, but there's not a lot of extra with that. So everything else comes out of our mailing campaign. With that, we use that to upgrade and maintain our vehicles and equipment. We try to keep our buildings maintained and up to shape. And, we try to be respectful to our community as well by keeping our appearance relatively well.
All right.
We're going to try and do a couple of fundraisers this year. We're looking at basically a beefsteak dinner or a country country line dance type of night. We're going to do some fundraisers with Dennis, with Elite Dive Club.
Oh, wow.
hopefully he'll get some new customers. We'll get some people that really realize what we do and what we're all about. And we got a real busy year ahead of us. We got a lot to accomplish. And with that being said, you'll definitely be seeing something in the mail from us as the residents. And please keep in mind that we're here because we want to be here to help you, and we want to help the community.
Right.
And that's what we're all about, So just keep that in mind when, you get your envelope from Parsippany Rescue. And the money is definitely going to a good cause.
Now, Jake, I've noticed when I go to these diving events, you dive yourself.
Yes.
Correct? Just tell me, because I know there was a drowning in Denville recently. When you go into rescue, and sometimes you're not rescuing, I guess you're going to
recovery.
Yeah, you're going for
recovery
the recovery
mode,
part
yes.
of it. Tell everybody the experience of that, what it's like, because it's not like regular clear pool water.
No, it's really a murky water where we're doing different techniques in order to find the body recovery side of it. There's also not actually for working with the police for evidence recovery, like a gun or a knife or what have you. Yeah. That's also involved underwater. But it is a dark area that you're working with where there's zero visibility. And the guys that are in there are highly trained in order to find what we're looking for, bodies or what have you. So it's an experience. Elite Divers teaches that as well with them. It's rewarding after you find closure in that effect for the families once we do what we do.
There's got to be obstacles. I mean, when you're underwater, like current, what would make? Because I know the times I read that searches have been called off due to types of, I guess, water currents. What Dennis, maybe you can answer. What would make that happen? I mean, why would they stop a search? Or
one of the first rules of rescue diving is not to put anyone else in jeopardy. Right. If you're unfortunate to lose someone or have someone in peril, you don't want to increase that number. So the rescuers have to be safe as well. So there's a lot of checks and balances that have to go into preparation of a dive site. And sometimes, a lack of information, not knowing where someone is, leading to a search area that's so big and treacherous. You mentioned currents or running water. The Rockaway River, for example, can be a swift-moving body of water, especially after heavy rains, a hurricane, or so on. And there could be many potential entanglement hazards there as well. Visibility is always limited, it seems. And again, you want to be very careful before you put someone else in jeopardy and make that assessment to whether conducting or continuing a rescue is prudent or not.
Right.
Mm-hmm. With our dive team, we get heavy support from Denville as well as Booton, and now we're working outside the county. We're meeting with other organizations to make our circle bigger, as well as working with the county.
You also do, I'll get back to water as well, but you also do pump outs for residents as well, am I correct? And
yes.
If they lose power, you have generators?
We give them generators for power. Just the other week, there was a patient, resident that needed dialysis. The power went out. He takes dialysis, so we had to give him a generator for about 12 hours.
Right.
That's what
and
we
you guys,
provide.
I know during Hurricane Sandy, you were up in the Puddingstone area, and there was, I guess, a gentleman who had a heart. You guys were up there with a generator. You just, even though it was a treacherous area. And this is, I like the residents to know. I mean, I was up in the area of Puddingstone, and I'll tell you, it was bad. But you guys went above and beyond. You made sure that the residents were safe. You had the generator going, and you in essence, you risked your own being to help those residents out. And I truly do appreciate that, and that's why I love working with all the volunteers in town. But you know, you guys go above and beyond. I have to tell you, and it's just totally amazing. And as a mayor, I know the administration, the town, our back is always covered. So, and you guys do an excellent job.
One thing,
Thank
if
you.
I could throw out there for you, is with the generators, a lot of times what we'll see as we're driving around is some people don't really know the safety procedures for their generators.
Right.
And there's been a couple of times where we pulled over by a house and said, hey, your generator's too close to your house, or it was in their garage. Carbon monoxide is a big deal. And some people don't understand that when they're in the heat of a storm, or you know, they just want to get power because something's going on or whatever. And they don't really think of the consequences of their actions. So everybody that has a generator should make sure that they read up on and know what the rules of safety are. And the other thing that I just wanted to bring up, because I feel this is very important, is we try to provide electric for the people in medical need of it. We don't want to go out there necessarily for
Right.
somebody who needs an Xbox.
Right, which
And
makes sense.
we have had those calls also, and it's if we give it to somebody that says that they need
Right.
it for medical treatment, when in fact they just want to quiet down their kids or something like that, it really takes away from what we're all about.
Right.
So I wanted to bring
Which
that up.
makes sense. I mean, you wouldn't really
you know,
want to
we're,
bring, it's just.
we're about
the
helping
Xbox.
the people in need,
Right.
not necessarily, make convenience.
Now, Dennis, are you involved in any of the towns in Morris County with diving, or just?
Yeah,
Parsippany?
we're also engaged with all the rescue teams. They've grown and dwindled over the years, depending on certain funds that are available to them, of course. But Parsippany seems to be the rock of Morris County for sure, with their dive and rescue operation. And I think they set a great example for some of the other communities around. And I'm starting to see now, a new breed of rescue diver get engaged in this. The younger folks and showing an interest in being a volunteer and enlisting in the training and joining the local squad. So it's really great to see.
So, you guys, and whoever wants to answer this question, Jake or Billy, you have a program for younger members. How to have them engage or join.
At this point in time, because of the way we're set up, it's for 18 and above.
Right.
We have been looking into some youth options, and there's a lot of obstacles with that because of insurance and because we have equipment, like labor laws and stuff like that. Even though we're a volunteer organization, we still have to respect
Right.
if you're not 18, you can't run the machine. So there's a lot of good that can come of that, and also a lot of bad, because we don't want to discourage.
Right.
If you get a new guy in and he can't use the tool, he could get discouraged and move on. So there's a lot of stuff that needs to be figured out before we actually do that. But we have, in the past, we've looked into the program. They have kind of a program set up for it. We just have to, find the right time and the right spot to engage it.
How many members do you have in the organization?
We have
Oh.
about 26 members, and out
Wow,
of the
that's-
26,
Active 26 members.
After 26. That's
And
not, I
then,
mean, I don't know if that's many, but it doesn't. In a big town like
Yeah.
Parsippany, it's like.
And
It-
then 35 altogether.
35 altogether. It's depending on what your call is. It's a lot or it's not enough.
So when was R&R established? What year?
1960.
Oh, okay. So wow.
So
Same
that's
year I
when
was
it was
born.
incorporated.
Yeah. It was
So they
incorporated
were
in
running a
1960.
couple years before that out of the police department.
So you're always trying to recruit people, correct?
Yes.
All right. So, well, I'm going to get to the biggie, because that's important, I think. Well, they both were. Irene and Sandy, I'm going to put them together. How tapped out were you during that storm? Because those two storms, I know, the police department, everybody was there. Everybody that you could imagine we had on the, and I want to say this too, because you guys, all the volunteers, but in the town, you guys were extraordinary. And you got to remember, we lacked in Hurricane Sandy alone. There was the diesel fuel. It was like we couldn't get any fuel at that time, and you guys had to deal with that as well. So it must have got stressful at some point during those storms.
For me, I work for Parks and Forestry, so I
Right.
was on the front lines of the storm, and
Right.
I still made some time to volunteer. So it wasn't just a totally work. I was on the front lines with the R&R, and also we helped clean up some of the houses down in Lower Lake Hiawatha. It gets crazy. It gets crazy because you start to get too much into it, and then you get people whose lives have been torn apart.
Right.
And we got to try and respect their thoughts and their feelings, still trying to keep our composure. Whether we're getting shouted at or hollered at or cursed at, we got to try and keep our composure because they just had a catastrophe. We spent a lot of time away from our families. I know at my house we didn't have power for 14 days, and my phone was ringing off the wall. Your kids are driving me crazy.
Right.
But we were down here and doing what we had to do to make sure that emergency vehicles could get through, because that was our first priority as a township employee, get
Right.
the streets open. And then the second priority was making sure everything was safe.
Another thing, it's not just outdoors and stuff. You also do elevator entrapments as well.
Yes.
So, how many have you? Have you done a lot of them, or?
This year we might we've done about 2 this year so far.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
got to be what happens to you getting trapped. I mean, I'm not laughing at people getting trapped, but I guess it doesn't.
The elevator doesn't work properly, and someone's inside the car, and they push the alarm,
alarm,
and
so-
then it gets dispatched to the police department, and in return they dispatch us, and we find a way to open the doors. Luckily, we haven't broken any of the elevator
Right,
doors
exactly.
drastically, but we all have keys to open it up, and if that doesn't work, that's when we have to manually open it up with Jaws of Life or what have you, the spreaders, anything that we can use.
We'll usually respond with the fire department of the district that it's in.
Right. Okay.
Because the more the merrier, especially during the day.
Exactly. And that, it's like,
Especially during the day.
I hate to get trapped in an elevator. I know I'm claustrophobic as it is. Like I wouldn't want to turn into the Hulk.
There was no other way of doing it. We ended up having to open an elevator, and the owner of the building came after we did that. He wanted to kill us.
Oh, really? Well, you know what? He's not entrapped in it, so
It's
when you're entrapped,
it's
it's
a lot of money to fix an elevator. That's for
Oh,
sure.
I could imagine. I'll be closing out the show soon, but I do want to. I want to thank you for coming on the show. And there's so much more. I'm going to probably have you guys back because I wanted to talk about your vehicles, your trucks, because I know each vehicle is for a different
Especially,
purpose and
yes.
special, and use special. So you'll be back on the show.
Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to, really end it this way. So we will have them back, Rescue and Recovery as well. Dennis, I want to thank you for taking your time out to explain, and thank you, first and foremost, for being involved in our community. Dennis is also a resident of Parsippany.
Yes, it's been my pleasure, Mick.
Yeah, and just to train, and maybe I will go. And one day you teach me how to scuba dive.
I'd love
but,
to.
It's a beautiful experience.
It would be one heck of an experience.
We'll be your 100% diver for
You know,
you, right?
that's-
But if it's going to
we'll
be,
be-
let's make sure it's a pond, nothing with currents in it, anything like that. But I want to thank you for being on the show. And first and foremost, thank you so much for what you do for the community of Parsippany. And ladies and gentlemen, they definitely deserve all the accolades because one of the things that I've always, always try to tell everybody, the most important thing as a mayor in my administration is the public safety. And the town cannot do it alone, so I want to thank you once again.
Thank
Also
you.
want to thank you for tuning in once again to Pride in Parsippany. And until next time, God bless all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.